Okay. Welcome everybody to this Sunday's live stream. My name is Eben Schumacher. If you're just joining us, I do these streams every Sunday. If you are returning from a prior stream, welcome back. I'm actually just going to pull up the stream on my phone here so I can see the comments. So I don't have my dual monitor display anymore. So yeah, today we're just going to be going through. I actually thought today we could do a character piece because I've had some requests for that, and it's something that I haven't really addressed much on these streams, mostly because those pieces, at least for me, tend to take a bit longer, and I do want to have something finished for you guys within this roughly 2-hour period that I do. But we're going to give that a try today. I'm going to bring up some references as well that we can use to maybe help speed the process along a little bit and sort of hone in on what we're trying to do here. So let's. I'm just going to pull up the stream here on my phone. And by the way, I'm doing a free custom artwork giveaway until January 1st. So if you sign up to the email list, which you can find in my website in the description below, as soon as you click that link, you'll get an option to sign up. All you have to do is sign up to the email list, and you'll get entered in a raffle, essentially, for a giveaway of a free custom artwork of whatever you choose. It will be in digital format, but whatever you want, I'll make it up for you, and then you can make prints of it or whatever you want. So I've had a lot of people request like pet portraits and things like that in the past, or even a specific fantasy scene that you're interested in commissioning for yourself. I'd be happy to do that if you are selected. So go ahead and subscribe to the list, and also subscribe to this channel as well if you haven't done that already, so you don't miss videos I release every Wednesday as well. So, all right, here we go. Just turn the sound off there. Sweet. Just going to set this up. I have a little stand for this somewhere. Okay, Sam's saying, tried to sign up on the website, but wasn't sure if the form went through. Yeah, it should show a little green submission confirmation message right next to the button there. And if it doesn't, you've probably already signed up. You should get a confirmation in your email as soon as you do. So go ahead and try that, and let me know how it goes, because I want to get you on there, Sam. Okay, sweet. Welcome, Jose. Welcome, Vieira. And Zabrina. I think that's how you pronounce that. Welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before, but I've definitely seen you in the Evident group and around, so I've definitely seen your work. Yeah, let's. I think what we're gonna do is change the orientation. Let's go. Let's do this, and then maybe crop it in a little bit. Get a nice portrait thing going on here, and let's see what kind of references we have. This pack. This is a free reference pack I found. I can't remember where, but this I got this pack a while back, and then I saw this this artist on Instagram, and apparently she does a lot of her work is just like providing references for artists and stuff. So I'll look her up after this because I can't remember what the handle is, but I'll include that in the link in the description. You should definitely check out her work. Anyway, I'm probably gonna find something that we can use here. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what kind of scene we want to set up here, but you know, sometimes if you don't have an idea, you can just start with a reference. You know, it's always a great way to get some inspiration. These are all really great. I like this one. I like the gesture of this. So let's bring up PureRef. Yes, Sam, that's probably it. Yeah, it's it's a bit of a tricky form if you have already subscribed, because it'll give you some weird message there. Unfortunately, with the website host provider that I'm using right now, that's it's the best possible option. I've spent months trying to figure out the best way to go about getting new subscribers in, and this is the best way. So yeah, if you have already subscribed, it won't show that confirmation button. It'll show some weird message about updating your profile, which you don't have to do. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, these references, I can't remember. Once again, I will post the handle of this artist here, this model, in the description once I'm done here, and you can go check out her stuff, and I'm sure you can find a link to the pack. It might have been from ArtStation, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm gonna pick this one because I really like the gesture, and I'm not even really sure what to do with it at this point, but I'm just gonna go ahead and hit Control-Shift-A, so this is always on top. Then we're gonna go into focus mode here, move this over. I'm almost thinking like this is it's kind of there's some potential for some like magical, like fairy or elemental spirit kind of creature here, so maybe we'll explore that in a bit. But kind of like I did with the actually I've got a video coming out of the Obi-Wan Kenobi portrait I did a little while ago, and I kind of, for a lot of that, I stick with my reference photo pretty closely for most of that process, but I actually, I mean, that's one way you can approach this, is just sort of make a study, and then from that study sort of move on to whatever fantasy elements or changes you want to make, and that's a great way to work if you don't really have the visual library built for yourself to be able to sort of just come up with this stuff on your own, which is pretty difficult. Anyway, actually, before I start, actually, 16 upstream today. Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, it's not like I'm displaying nudes here necessarily. This is all YouTube friendly, I'm sure. Yes, Noah Bradley. Actually, I think they're married. I think her name is something. Her last name is Bradley as well. So look him up. Noah Bradley is also an incredible artist as well. I just followed his stuff. Awesome. Okay, let's get going here. So I actually just released, if you're a Procreate user, I just released a update for my brush pack, which you can find in the link for the in the description below the video as well. And I spent a lot of time adjusting it for Procreate specifically, because as you may know, you can open ABR files in Procreate that are built for Photoshop, but there's a lot of miscommunication that happens between the two programs, and you're not going to get the same result. So I did quite a bit of tweaking and optimizing for the pack for Procreate, and that is now included. You get both. You get two ABR files when you download it. So you get one that you can easily upload into Procreate, and another you can use for Photoshop, and also now Clip Studio Paint offers support for those Photoshop brushes. So you should be able to use it in whatever program you're used to using. I'm not sure. Someone has asked me about Krita, and I'm not sure about that one. I've never used that program, but you're welcome to give it a try. It's not a huge investment at this point. So, all right, let's actually make some artwork here. So I'm just gonna start with the gesture on a new layer here. It has such a clear, really clear, nice gesture here. So I'm just gonna start with some sort of flowing lines. Might even, you can even exaggerate it a little bit beyond what you're seeing. I'm kind of exaggerating these curves. there's this nice outward curve here, and then there's this really, it's almost a right angle here that I really want to accentuate. Been really, if you haven't gotten into just straight up figure drawing, regardless of what your usual subject matter is, it's just such a great practice. It's really really quite enjoyable, and to learn all these all the ways the human body works, and how different muscles and things come together. It like really makes you appreciate, I mean, just regardless of what your beliefs are, like just how well designed the human body is, and like how it all just connects so efficiently. And it's just such a fun way to sort of get to know something a bit more sort of scientific almost, you know. Just the more you sort of study the aesthetic of it, the more you understand how efficient it is, and how really well designed everything is. So it can be quite an intriguing and relaxing process for your daily practice. I try to do it at least once a week. I have one of my daily practices is figure drawing. I think I usually try to do that on Mondays, although the subject of my practice, I try to keep it consistent, but sometimes it changes depending upon what I want to do that day. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to I don't know, sometimes it's hard to like justify doing stuff like this, because you're like, well, if it's not a commissioned piece, or if it's not you know, an original work like that I can show to everybody and get a whole bunch of likes for, like, what's the point? But it's, I mean, these are the kinds of things you have to invest time in, and the truth is, if you want to get good, you're going to have to spend a lot of time creating work that nobody sees and that you don't show off to people. And that's just the bare truth. In fact, I mean, if you're really doing it right, you don't have to, you know, it can be up to like 50 to 70% of the content that you create on a daily basis will never see the light of day, just because it's like, I mean, maybe you're proud of everything you create, and that's great. I mean, that's strange, but but great. I mean, it's a pretty rare quality. I think a lot of artists tend to be pretty self-critical, but you know, even so, there's some things you don't need to share with the world. It's just for you and your process. So it's just something to bear in mind as far as your daily practice. And I think maybe like her hand is resting on some kind of, I think that's a chair. I'm not sure if I'm going to include that. Maybe I could. Maybe it could be like a rock or something. We can always put a pin on that, but I might just sort of have it flowing out a little bit, which it may or may not work, just because her weight is sort of, she has some of her weight balanced on this chair, so I'm not sure how it'll look if that's not there. It might look a little bit unbalanced, but then I could always rotate it a little bit, you know. So it's just, there are always ways to kind of work around that, but balance is super key when you're creating a character, because you know, for some reason we're just super sensitive to those kind of things. Not quite as much as with like eyes and that kind of stuff, which is I'm sure we'll get to in a minute here, but we're definitely very sensitive to if a character looks like they're about to tip over. It's a very unsettling look. So once I have the basic gesture down, I'm kind of doing this in a bit of a back and forth way, but I always start with a strong gesture and make sure that's looking good first, and then I'll move into sort of defining shapes and planes a little bit. I don't do the box thing so much anymore. That's definitely a great if you don't have too much experience with doing figures. There are lots of, I know Marco Bucci and Proco have a lot of great stuff on that, on sort of mapping out the different like three-dimensional shapes that constitute a body in the form of boxes. That can be a really great way to simplify things. I think eventually most people will move past that and just once they have a really good sense of how those planes work and where they are shown in the body. And I'm not saying I'm a master of that, but I guess I just tend to sort of skip by that process, and I might double back and do a bit of that if I'm sort of confused about an area. And then, so once, I think actually the next thing I'm sort of doing here is clarifying my lines, and I like to do that with every line that I make. I think regardless of what the content that I'm creating, of what I'm drawing, I prefer to have it either straight or just a clear curve. So you'll see that, at various places around here. I try to keep my lines as simple and straightforward as possible. There's some small exceptions here, but it's always easier to communicate your ideas when you're using these very, very simple, straightforward line choices, and almost making these sort of rigid shapes, or not rigid necessarily, like you want to have a lot of movement in there, but you want them to be sort of fairly geometric at first, until you go back in and sort of sort some of that stuff out and clarify the nuances. But so you'll sometimes see me make a line, and then if it, I want to be making one clear line and having that stay. So sometimes you'll see me make a line and it's a little bit off, and so I'll just undo and go back, which is one of the great things about the digital medium. But I try not to undo things too much, and more often than not I'll just use the eraser to sort of dial back something if it's not quite working for me. So another thing you can do at this point is, like, if you're familiar, or if you're seeing on the figure some like familiar muscle groups, you can sort of modify them a little bit depending upon what you want to be doing with your character. So if you want them to be really strong, like I could start developing some of these muscles a bit more strongly, and maybe we can do that, but I'm not sure. I mean, the pose is not one that's suggesting strength or power necessarily. It's almost a bit more like seductive or sort of ethereal and floaty, and I think that's sort of the direction I'm going to go with this character, just because I want the pose to reflect the character's qualities. And I'm probably, since like her gaze and motion is sort of directed over here, I'm probably gonna move her over to this side, and there might be something happening over here, like casting a spell or something. That could be sort of cool. It might be a little strange with like this. I feel like this arm is doing some weird stuff for what it is, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm actually gonna do what I said I would do earlier and sort of tilt this a bit. But I might actually wait on that until I have some of these details exactly where I want them. Hey there, Sahiro. Welcome. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you have any questions or anything throughout this process, or anything you want to know about your own art process, or what I'm doing here, or strategies that you can use to improve your own digital artwork, feel free to drop a comment and ask. I'm checking the feed as I go here, so I'd be happy to chat with you about that kind of stuff. I actually am currently developing a program for doing some more one-on-one work with people, and developing their own art skills and practice habits. So I've been working on that over the holidays here, and so you can expect an announcement about that coming up soon. So if that's something you're interested in for improving your own work and sort of taking your own artwork to kind of the next level, or figuring out what it is you need to be working on to improve, just let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I'd be happy to follow up with you about that. That's something you'll get more information on as well if you subscribe to the email list. So we can't see the bottom of her feet here, but I don't think it'll be that important. I think she will be kind of floating. In some way. I think her leg is coming out just a bit more here. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly like the reference photo. At any point, you can sort of take it in your own direction. But I like to sort of get what I can out of the photo during the beginning phases, and sort of work from there. Because it's a bit harder to use that content once you've sort of developed it in your own direction a bit more. I'm wondering if let's try something. I'm gonna copy this layer, and we're just gonna experiment with this arm a little bit, because I feel like we can do something else with it. Something a little bit more sort of spell-like, I actually think there might be another reference photo from that pack we can use. Some cool ones where she's through here. Maybe not exactly. I'm sure I could find one online as well if I needed it, but maybe we can just experiment with this a bit and see if it's something we want to pursue. I do not have a Discord server there. As far as anatomy books, I have a few I've used in the past. Honestly, I haven't used them. I mean, it's a great resource, but you don't. I mean, there are lots of videos on there, like online for this kind of stuff as well. Like I said, Proco and Marco Bucci have some great stuff on this. I think they've been doing some joint videos lately, so you can check that stuff out. It's very digestible. They're both great teachers, and that's really great for anatomy stuff. I've picked up a lot of things from them, and otherwise, I mean, if you continue to do figure and anatomy studies, you're really, if you do it carefully, you're really bound to learn quite a lot about your subject and how to create it convincingly, which has been most of what I've done for my practice. So, if you're finding that your studies are a bit of a drag, you may be doing it wrong. I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, but I guess I've always found studies almost a relief, because you don't have to come up with ideas about what you want to do. It's just sort of all laid out for you almost. And so and I don't know, I've always found the process to be quite relaxing and a nice thing to kind of do at the end or at the beginning of any day. And the result can be quite rewarding as well. I may have to pull up a reference. My hands are like my Achilles heel, and I've been drawing so many hands. Excuse me, and I still have a lot of trouble with them. So that's just one of those things where, like, I know that's one of my weak points. So I have to do a lot more studies. But of course, in the meantime, I can always find some references and use those. Sometimes I have to think, like, which way is the hand facing? If it's like it's up here, I think I put the thumb on the wrong side. That's probably right, yeah. Because, right, so she's facing this way. Her hand's like that. Or maybe her hand could be up. I don't know what she's doing with this other hand here. Kind of like reinforcing the spell or something. But if it is facing this way, her thumb's gonna be on the other side, so that's at least good to know. Maybe we'll deal with that later. But there could be some kind of like interaction between these two, like she's, I think that looks okay so far. Let's flip it, make sure that's holding up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. She looks pretty strong. I mean, I've sort of outlined a lot of these muscles really clearly, just for my own process, just to sort of make sure I know where they are and everything. I'll probably smooth a lot of that out later, depending upon how I want the character to be represented. But I think this is fairly clear so far. Sounds like hands are a common problem. Yeah, as far as like practice spent digital painting, I mean, like there are definitely different fields of thought on that. Personally, like I for like straight up practice, meaning like unrelated to personal projects or commission work or anything, I try to do a half hour every day, which really isn't that much when you think about like how a lot of you'll hear a lot of great artists and professionals in any field that be like, you need to practice like 10 hours every day, and which is true, but that's a level that you can really only achieve at the professional level, and not everyone is able to start there. And so like if you're making your living off of it, you can put 10 hours in every day, but even then, like I said, that can be commission work. And as far as I know, even like, you know, myself included, although I'm still pretty young as far as professionals go, you know, a lot of the days is spent not necessarily making art, but sort of doing your own marketing and promoting and dealing with clients and all this stuff. So it's anyway, the point being, you may not need to practice for as long as you think you do, but the key is frequency and consistency. Being able to do it every day and optimally at the same time. You know, you want to have the same kind of triggers. You want to have the same. You want to condition yourself so it's automatic, so you don't have to think like, oh, when am I going to practice today? Can I fit in between this? Maybe not, because I have to do this. It has to be the same thing. So, you know, take some time to figure out when the best time of every day is for you to put in that time. It can be 15 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it can be a half hour like I do. If you really want to, if you have the time, put in an hour, put in 2 hours, you know. Sometimes my half-hour practice turns into a 3-hour practice because I'm really engaged with what I'm doing. But regardless of that, you know, set something realistic for yourself that you know you're going to be able to do every day. And then from there, you know, your skills will definitely improve if you're doing it sort of consciously and deliberately. And also if you're targeting, you know, your the things you need to improve on. This is very cool. I'm liking this this pose and this whole. I feel like there could be like a sort of a plume of mist or something coming around here. And by the way, with this sketching phase, like I feel like I spent a lot of time a bit too zoomed in, so sometimes it's actually best to come out a bit and really refine your shapes before you kind of go in and do a lot, because I feel like some of these things aren't quite working the way I want them to. Just sort of clarifying some of these overall three-dimensional shapes, making sure they're in the right orientation, all this stuff. I'll make a note of where the center line of the head is, but we're definitely gonna come back to that. Make some notes about where different angles of the body are meeting. Where there are important plane changes, and I'm probably just going to get rid of a lot of this scrub. So much scrub. It's not a good thing to leave most of the time. And it can be useful too to make marks about where the lighting changes as well. Different planes of shadow and light. I might, since I have the reference, I might as well just use those lighting cues as well. I mean, I could make my own, but they've clearly taken some time to create some good lighting for this figure, so, why should I, work against that? It's just, it's just easier, more efficient to work with what I have here, and it's going to produce a better result. So I'm probably not going to mess with the lighting too much, but I can definitely refine it and make tweaks and adjustments as I go forward. Just going to keep this hand shape simple for now. Pretty cool though. I really like the flow of this, and that's something we can build on a lot more later on. Just thinking about how there's going to be a lot of like smoke and particles and stuff, and I just love doing that kind of stuff because it's it's easy. And it does so much for your painting to have all these like lost edges and that kind of thing. All right, let me take a minute to see what. There's a lot of commenting here. Well, yeah, Sahiro in response, of sitting down for 30 minutes and knowing that you're going to put 3 hours in. I mean, that's great. But I think it's useful to be able to not have that expectation. If you always have 3 hours every day to do that, that'll work. But if there's one day where you're like, oh, I only have, 45 minutes between these two activities, I can't paint for 3 hours, so, it's best to just put the half hour in and have that be your goal. And that's like one of the most important things for habit forming is not even if you do more than that, just set something that you can do every day, and do it consistently. But yeah, if you're painting for half a day, that's great. I mean, obviously, the more time you put into it, the better. I think for me, and I think a lot of other people would agree, 4 hours once a week is not going to do the same as a half hour every day of that week, or even 10 hours one day of that week, because your brain needs to consistently engage with these things and to be consistently processing them. And a lot of the learning you do happens actually when you're asleep. So you need to be able to be engaging with these things, giving your mind a rest period so it can assimilate that information, then re-engaging with it again the next day. And that's really, it's the most efficient way to learn. And even if you can really get in that flow state with those, 6 hour painting sessions, which I definitely do sometimes, and I love it, that's super important as well when it can come up. But in terms of your overall learning and progression, getting better quickly, the small amounts consistently, I think, is really what matters. All right, let's keep going here. It's probably, let's see, what's it, 12:49. Good, making good time. I mean, this is the most important part of the painting. So if you spend, if you spend a lot of time doing anything, this is probably the best. I think this wrist is a bit thin, so let's just make sure we correct that and make sure the bones and everything are articulated well here, especially because oh whoops, I'm doing this on the background layer. I don't want to do that. Yeah, especially because this is coming a bit forward in the image. I mean, not really forward, I guess. Kind of forward and to the side. But I want to make sure the perspective is taken into consideration here. I want to show a bit of that that other muscle on the underside as well. I wish I knew the names for them. Once again, I'm not an anatomy expert. There are plenty of other resources available if you really want to learn all the nuances of the. It's good to know like all the names of the muscles so you can really identify them, and you know, to be able to create these things from your imagination. That's really you need to know these kinds of things. But once again, you know, the more you use references, the more you create studies, you know, the better you're going to get at this kind of stuff. So. And I think the next thing I do just before I start mapping in color, you noticed I've kind of saved this face for as this sort of blank thing for a while. I prefer to do that just so I can get the most important major shapes out of the way first, but I am going to take a minute here just to quickly make some notes about what's happening here in the face. And if you don't get it right at this point, that's fine. You know, I still make quite a few micro adjustments as I go forward with the face, always, because it's just such a very sensitive area, or I should say we are very sensitive to how it's portrayed. So, but the key here is to not be concerned with the features as so much as just the shapes that you're seeing here. And don't be discouraged if it looks super weird at first. It always does, at least for me. There's always opportunities for correction as you move forward. There's some key I mean, facial anatomy is a whole thing. There are definitely some key shapes and patterns you want to get down here. Make sure the negative shapes, that's really what I'm mostly focusing on. You want to make sure those are working for you. Because if you focus on only the positive shapes, like the eyes and the eyebrows and the nose and all that stuff you're used to recognizing, your mind is gonna get in the way, because we're so used to processing that stuff very, very quickly and automatically, and in many different parts of our brain. It's very hard to see them objectively, which is, I think, why people struggle with faces so much. Probably expand this a little bit. I think I always end up making the face too small for some reason. I think that's definitely where we're at right now. But so let's just quickly blow that up. And I try not to zoom in any further than this. I mean, I would almost, the only trouble is like with with a drawing tablet on Photoshop, sometimes your hand just can't create the movements needed to create these small details, which is why I do zoom in. But I really try to make these marks from an arm's length, so to speak, you know, because I'm really just concerned about the major shapes here, and that's how you're really going to get accuracy at this point in the process. Actually, should probably move this up as well. She's a little hunched. Kind of looks like a weird, creepy doll right now, which is I'm okay with. I mean, that's not what I'm going for, but it's just a necessary step for me. It isn't for everybody. I know there are plenty of artists out there that can create a really nice, well-rendered face very quickly, and I'm not one of them, but I know with enough time and careful observation, I can create something that that works well. It does require quite a bit of focus, though, so pardon me if I'm not getting to your comment right away here. I don't know, this looks super goofy. Let's flip it and try it that way. Oh yeah. She looks very, very stiff. Probably have her eyebrows narrowed a bit more than in the reference photo, just because she's making a bit of a aggressive move here with her spell. Or it doesn't have to be aggressive necessarily, but powerful, you know? So something to bear in mind. Probably want to get the bottom part of her ear here too. Ears are for some reason very important in communicating that something is human. For some reason. Yeah, so here we are. Probably should move this mouth a bit lower. Probably spending a bit too much time on this during the sketching phase, but it's all stuff we can use later. You know, it's all something we can build on as we move forward. Can include the shadow lines in here as well. That's really going to help us define different planes of the face, even if it makes her look like a ghoul at this point. think her eye's coming down a bit more there. And we can always find if this reference isn't working. For example, in this photo, she's looking up, and you know, in the image we're gonna create, she is she's gonna be wanting to. We're gonna want her to look where she's casting this spell here. So, you know, I can always find another reference photo if we need for that. But for now, I'm just gonna sort of trust in my ability to make that change with that one. You know, once again, if you already have the reference there, might as well use it. And if it doesn't work for what you're doing, then, you know, find another one. Let's flip this and compare once again. Find that flipping the canvas with faces is always really really helpful and terrifying too, because as soon as you flip it, you kind of you're kind of forced to see all the terrible stuff you've been making. But you know, you just have to kind of keep moving and not take it personally. Just know that you're a human being, and it's probably good if you're seeing those things. So it means there's something you need to improve in your piece. Yeah, I'm not sure. I may find a different reference for this just because her expression is probably not what I will want to use. It's very kind of serene and sort of maybe there's even another image from this reference pack that I can use. It would be helpful to be able to use the same face, you know. You can make the hair flow out and do all kinds of stuff here. All right, well, it's good enough to get us going, I suppose. She at least has a face now, so it's always an improvement from not having a face. Depending upon what you're going for, but probably reduce the sort of dullness of this as well. I want her to be a bit fierce. So, you know, once again, I'll probably push those eyebrows down a bit. Maybe raise the outer end. Something like that. Yeah, good enough. Good enough for now. And then, you know, we're going to want to make some adjustments to the expression as well. All the different muscles in the face will be working a bit differently. Her mouth. I mean, she could be smiling in like kind of an evil way, or in a triumphant way, you know, or she could be sort of grimacing like this is a battle. I don't know. A lot of options. It all just depends upon what you're trying to articulate here. Just gonna sort of shade this in to help define this area. But we've definitely spent quite a bit of time on the drawing, which is usually kind of how it is with how I make characters. I'll spend a and that's kind of why it takes quite a long time. Is, you know, I spend a lot of time sort of refining these subtle anatomical elements, and that takes quite a bit of time there, but I think we're looking pretty good so far. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, she's fierce. I mean, I can also, from here on, maybe I'll just draw on sort of my own visual library as well, and just sort of wing it, you know. It's very hard to make a attractive person just right off the cuff here, too, from your imagination. I mean, they don't have to be attractive, but I don't know. They kind of do. That's what. It's a bare truth about human nature. Just want to see beautiful people all the time. She could be like a snake woman, though. I just kind of had that idea with the nostrils. I don't know. All right, let me see what people are saying here. Awesome. Oh, all right. Vera's out. Thank you, Vera, if you're still with us here. And hope you have a great day. And Ernesto is saying, a problem I always have is that sometimes I tend to get lost in a part of a piece and over-detail it when the rest of the composition is not the same, and it ends up kind of looking weird. Yes, I do that also. It's really easy. An easy thing to do, and it's something you have to be aware of as you're moving. You know, if you sense that you're getting there and you're not getting results, take a step back, find another part of the canvas to work on, or just take a break, you know. Take a walk, come back to it. Sometimes it's just, like I said, your brain needs space to process and learn these things. And when you encounter something like that, you're probably learning. It's something new that you aren't comfortable doing. So if you spend all this time like working on and detailing this place without really making progress, I mean, it's one thing if you're developing that area and you just want to spend a lot of time detailing, but if you're kind of going back and forth and reworking it a lot, like I do a lot with faces, if I'm not sort of aware of it, take a break, take a walk, or just work on a different part of force yourself to work on something else for a while and come back to it. It will definitely help you work more efficiently through that area. And also, you know, another key thing is working from a distance until you have all of your basic shapes and elements correct. And even beyond that, you know, keep pushing yourself from this distance. Make sure it looks good from far away as a whole piece as you're working. And then very sparingly zoom in to detail things, but you don't want to spend like too much time like at this level per se, you know, working out all those things. If you do, just because your hand and your tablet have limitations, you know, go in there, work it out quickly, come back out, keep checking, make sure it works well with the whole composition, because it doesn't matter how great your details look from that distance if they don't look good from a further away viewpoint. Swapnil, I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's asking about line weight, and I think I've seen that comment pop up before. Actually, it's not something I think about very much, but because I don't do a lot of line work for the final product, this is still the sketch phase, so I'm not really concerned about it so much. I do, I guess, generally use thicker lines to define like key boundaries and areas with more shadow and sort of the overall shape. And maybe thinner lines to define like more subtle plane changes and that kind of thing. But Yeah, it's I'm definitely not like a line artist or a comic artist, so it's not something I give too much thought to. Um, Awesome. Well, Sam, I'm glad you're inspired. Um, if you look at this and you're having trouble, going back to your own work, I mean, just have some trust in yourself and your own artistic abilities. I mean, you must have created something great at some point. Otherwise, you may not have continued creating art. So, definitely know that you have the ability to create something great, and that you just need to put the time in. Sometimes you just sort of have to convince yourself of that, just to put the time in, and if it's any consolation, I have the same experience all the time. There's so many artists that I watch and I see their work, and it's just I just see the genius of it, and then I return to my canvas and I'm like, like, what what am I doing here? I'm not even close. But that's something that you're gonna have your whole life. That's something that I'm sure those artists I'm sort of envying in that way have the same thing about someone else. Nobody is the best. There's always going to be someone that's better than you, and it's or more skilled, or has spent more time doing this kind of stuff. So it's worth figuring out how you can move past that, and everyone has different strategies for that. I have my own, which is a whole thing. I can go sort of a whole other discussion in itself, is being able to remain emotionally sort of detached from your process and from your work and from the results, which is a huge component of what I do on a daily basis. But everyone is different, and it's just worth noting and figuring out ways that you can sort of be able to consciously compare yourself to other artists, but to not let any negative emotions that may come up affect your work or your productivity or your desire to create. Which, like, I totally understand, and I was that way for many years. I wouldn't even look at other artists' work, any of it. I didn't look for references. I didn't look for inspiration. Because it felt so terrible every single time, and like I just couldn't deal with the emotional impact of that comparison. It just immediately became like, oh, you're worthless, and your work is terrible because all these other artists are great. Well, I think a lot of people experience that, but it's worth. It's like a whole other thing. You have to take the time to figure out how to address that problem as well, because it is a problem. If you want to be an artist, you can't have that mindset. The only way to get better is to look at other people that are better than you and to learn from them. So it's definitely worth noting and thinking about. And I also, I'm working on a lot of videos on that subject, and that's definitely something I would be discussing a bit more in the more one-on-one sessions that I'm working on implementing soon through my website. Okay, it's probably time to start painting and doing some more stuff with this. So let's move you over for a second. Actually, maybe I'm gonna move my color palette over here. That's probably better. And I'm gonna move you over here. And let's just make a new layer and put it underneath our sketch. Whoops, stop, come back. There you go. We got a new layer underneath our sketch. We can bring up our brush menu here. Let's just start with some stuff. I don't know what I'm thinking, like green and blues, maybe some kind of analogous color scheme here. Something, or maybe, oh my god, you know, it could be, she could be like, I don't know, fire or water. I think someone mentioned like having a water thing. The blue and orange color scheme is like, I have a huge soft spot for it, so we might do that, but water could be cool. That could be very difficult as well, but I kind of like that. I mean, fire is, I don't know, everyone vote on it. Help me make this decision for me. Should be, she can be like a fire spirit or a magician, surrounded by kind of a cool blue background, or we could do like a water spirit kind of thing with more of a, you know, a warmer background, because we want to maintain that contrast as well. Whoops, just threw it off the edge of the screen here. I'm kind of feeling the water thing, to be honest, but I want to hear what you guys think as well. Or no, so that's, yeah, the algorithm is always showing you stuff that's that's, it'll show you a better version of what you've created. Yeah, that's a big thing on Instagram too. Like, I follow a lot of really great professional artists on Instagram. It's, I mean, that's, the whole social media thing is a whole other problem in itself. But yeah, it can be a lot when you're just scrolling through, and especially because you're already scrolling, like you're already not creating artwork, and you're just looking at all these other great artists, and you're like, oh, I'm not as good, and I'm not doing anything to be better, and it's just, it can lead to a spiral sometimes. But so Hero, I mean, I appreciate your confidence. Good for you, I guess. Yeah, we all have a lot to learn. Water spirit or fire magician. Oh, hey Frederick, welcome. Let's see. Water with draconian. Well, I don't know what draconian spirits are. Can you tell me what that is? Or like, I guess that's like dragon. Like a dragon species? I don't know. That sounds familiar. Yeah, it's like her pose is very kind of like flowy and like, even it can be powerful, but also it's not like fire. I feel like it can be quite aggressive. So I think we're gonna go with the water thing. That sounds like a lot of fun. So she can have some waves and stuff. Maybe there could be fish flying, you know, like whales and dolphins and stuff going around. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know, should she be like a mermaid or something? Could be a whole thing. I don't really draw that much or paint that much water, or I haven't in a while. I'm just realizing that. So we're gonna see how it goes. I did a little bit for that stream of like, there was the lava monster versus the fire or the water dragon a while back. That was kind of cool. But I don't know if I was totally successful in doing that with that piece, but we'll see. It's not too difficult to do all like the foamy stuff, because I do a lot of clouds and that kind of thing, but with all the lighting, it can be, I could always look up some references of like people surfing and that kind of thing. Maybe there will be some warmer light kind of like shining through, and you know, this is kind of where, or maybe it can be like, if we want to follow the reference lighting, which, you know, like I said, we don't have to, but we could have some light shining through on this side, you know, sort of helping to create some contrast there, as if it's sort of like there's a sunset behind her shining through the waves. And then oh, this could be really cool. Yeah, and then we can sort of have that same sort of rim lighting here. is really nice. I've even got like in this this music, it's very ocean-like. There are like dolphins and stuff singing in the background. I don't know. I love it. Ooh, this is very cool. I love this mood. I almost want to exaggerate this pose a bit more. It'd be a little tricky, but I could probably pull it off. Let's try it. Just gonna copy and paste it so we have a backup in case I really screw it up. Or maybe we just need to keep rotating it. I don't know, I just did all that lighting back there on a different layer. So let's actually, I'm just gonna back up a little bit. Yeah, because I still feel like she's a little bit unbalanced towards the left side. Okay, that's probably, I think that's as far back as we can go there. So let's just, and then maybe I can push the, I think I smushed her face a little bit. I guess this is okay. I'll really zoom out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think her face is still messing with me, but like I said, we'll come back to that. Flying fish. Red hair. Oh, that could be cool. All right. Actually, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break here, and then I will come back. I think this is going to be a long one because let's see, it's 1:23 here. Yeah, we can go a little longer this time, so I'm just going to take a quick 5 and I will be right back. Okie doke. Let's get back into it. Okay. Next thing. Yeah, maybe I do need to head over a little bit. Neck's kind of weird. Cool. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. Probably gonna blow her up a little bit too. She's covering more of the frame here. Maybe not quite that much. There we go. Okay, so here I am with the underpainting. Let's just resume where we were. Maybe I'll learn from my mistakes here and create a new layer for the underpainting for the body. That's a bit dark. This will be nice. We can do some sort of some glowy stuff with the hair. That can always be a nice effect. And I'm actually realizing now, because of the hair, a lot of this will be in shadow here. And, unlike the reference photo where it's sort of illuminated like that. So she's kind of gonna be backlit, but I'll probably have some sort of I'll probably build on the alternate light source over here, which can be anything really. It can just be sort of ambient stuff going on, but it'll just help to flesh everything out a bit. Maybe it could be green. That'd be kind of cool. Sort of a greenish tinge to sort of contrast with the orange. It's sort of, I don't know, could be interesting. I feel like there's always some sort of green stuff going on with water, so we'll include some of that back here as well. like she's sort of surrounded by this water chrysalis or something, cocoon. I do some reds in there too. Maybe even a little bit of violet. Can make this very colorful. And then we'll have her sort of watery streams coming out this way. It's a interesting composition. I like it. See what it looks like without the sketch real quick. Pretty rough, but like, I don't know, the idea's there. So, I think the next thing I'm gonna do here is just start painting over my sketch as well. And I'll keep it as a backup, which I usually do, but I usually don't need it after that point. So I'm going to copy and paste that. And just sort of set it aside down here. I guess I have another sketch from earlier. Let's see what that looks like, just out of curiosity. Oh, nice. It's good to have two. So I'll keep that just in case we need like a pose reference. So yeah, I'm really liking this so far. I feel like this is a really cool concept, and like there's a lot of interesting potential for colors happening here. So, and this is a nice pose. So thank you once again to this artist who provided the reference photo. Once again, I can't remember her name, but I will look it up and include it in the description as well. So let's go ahead and merge. I'm going to merge the underpainting of the body with this sketch. And then what we can do is go in with our mixer brush and just start defining things a bit more. Defining areas of ambient occlusion, that is just places where light is naturally absent, not necessarily a cast shadow. I guess I haven't defined those areas I set up before with the light hitting the figure, so I'm gonna do that as well. And this I'm gonna keep looking at my reference for as well, for guidance. There's even could be a little bit of reflected light under here as well. Definitely hitting right here around the glutes, and then down the leg. I mean, that's pretty strong. I don't know if I want it to be quite that intense in the final product, but I'm going to be, just because I don't want to draw a lot of attention down here, but I'm definitely going to be adjusting that as I move forward and bringing out other areas that need more attention with some more saturated colors as well. And this way I have this on, I mean, I don't always work with layers like this, but for character art, I usually do. I like to keep the character on a different layer than the background, at least until the final sort of adjustment phase of the painting. And it's just because it's really easy to sort of shape things that way, and to sort of, you can erase away, you know, the silhouette to help clarify it and that kind of stuff. So I like to keep it on a separate layer, at least for a while. I think someone was talking about giving her red hair. We can definitely explore that as well. Just making what's her name, Ariel from the Little Mermaid. I'd make this a nice point of contrast as well. And then where the red shifts to a more shadowy region, it'll probably shift to more of a maroon. And we can show that on the other side of her head. I'm using my mixer brush here as well, so I can get some more sort of flowiness to it. I can use my smudge tool as well. That's really good for hair stuff sometimes. I'm not too worried about, you know, the material looking realistic at that point. I'm still just sort of plotting out the general shapes. Probably want to have a bit more of a clear shadow over here. So I'll dip into that maroon. And we'll just go in on that. This almost looks like it could be like an X-Man or something. Or what is it? there was a, I think one of the most recent X-Men, they were like, there was this line where it was like, yeah, we're not X-Men, we're X-people. And it's like, I don't know, it's very true, but it's, I don't know, I thought that was funny. It seemed like a very obvious attempt to reframe the franchise in the context of modern social trends. Just thought that was interesting. Anyway, yes, because you can't call them X-women. I guess you can. My point being, I don't really know what to call, to call them. But anyway, I think it's kind of like the reflective body thing. It kind of reminds me of like Mystique or something. Probably, we can have the hair kind of going around, or almost like what's the other one? Jean Grey, the Phoenix. Some of that could be sort of depicted here as well, with the hair and everything. Oh my god, your PC just restarted mid-painting. That's awful. I actually haven't, like, I've never had anything quite like that. Oh, hey, what's up, Isao? Isao, I think that's how you pronounce it. You're totally right, though. I should have saved a while ago, so here I am. This is some thumbnails from my previous video, and then a little cat portrait I did for Christmas that you're seeing there. So let's see, I want to put this in our videos, live streams, PSDs. There we go. Gotta stay organized with your files, folks. All right, this is live stream 26. Boom. I actually saw, what was that? I saw another, oh yeah, this one. I forgot I did this. This was another character live stream that I started, and I don't think I ever finished it. I kind of want to take a look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, good. It definitely still needs some work, but I like how the face came out, or like how it was coming. I actually think I worked on this after the stream. I didn't think I even got this far in the stream, but I don't know. That's kind of cool. Anyway, let's come back to what we were doing. Awesome. I'm just gonna move you over here. I'm not using the reference so much anymore at this point, but we'll keep her around. Yeah, you're kind of right. Actually, she does sort of look like Jean Grey at this point. Definitely with the hair. Mixer brush here. Have some cool cast shadows of the hair across the. That's always a fun thing to do with hair and things like that. Is have shadows. We'll probably do some of that down here. Like we can make some little stripes where, you know, the hair is casting a shadow on the body. That can be fun to explore. Probably, I'm gonna give her hair some more volume and bounce, because she uses Pantene shampoo, the unofficial sponsor of this video. Oh my god. Someday I will be sponsored by shampoo companies. That's when I'll know I've made it. That's when you know anyone's made it, really. Get your face on a bottle of shampoo. Alright, I digress. She'll probably have like blue and green skin too. I think that'd be cool. Blue skin, red hair. What is not to love? Maybe she can have like a fish face. You know, like the fish face that girls are always making in their profile pic. Except she will actually have like gills and stuff. Maybe she could have gills. It's a possibility. We can do whatever we want here. Have them like over here. Might be a bit much though. She kind of looks like the Joker right now. Just because I gave her a big old bunch of lipstick here. Probably tone that back. Probably not going to get too lost in the face details at this moment, because I just want to make sure the rest of this figure is sort of fleshed out as well. Pardon the pun. What is that noise? I don't know. She'll have some kind of shadow here. Maybe like the shadow of some hair going across her face. That's so weird. I don't know, I'm hearing stuff. Something on my desk squeaking. I don't know if you can hear that at all. I think just getting paranoid. Now she kind of looks like that. Who's that woman that plays? She's in the Avengers. Who plays that Agent Carter? Haley Atwell. Kind of looks like her. The eyes are a little different, but. Probably have some tiny reflections of, or at least we'll see the whites of her eyes here. Nice. Maybe even one sort of pinprick highlight. And we can even, I don't know what color, she could have like red eyes too, that would be cool. Create even more contrast. I don't know. I just want to see what that looks like. If my brush cooperates with me here. Whoa. That's intense. I actually heard pupil is way off over here. Let's just move that over to the left. It's pretty sweet. I think it's still looking in the wrong direction, but I don't know. I'm just messing around here. It's pretty sweet though. Very very intimidating. Once again, Anna, I'm probably zoomed in a bit too much. I don't want to. Or just for a bit too long. I don't want to linger here, but I'm just going to sort of key in some quick planes of the face that are catching the light. Nice. Just Ariel gone rogue. Let's take that same color and use it to highlight other areas where that, you know, the secondary light source is sort of directly hitting them. This is very like, it's almost comic book arty, you know, and I say I don't do that kind of stuff too often, but I think sometimes I sort of dip into that territory a bit. Probably use the mixer brush here again just to start smoothing things out. Go back to my reference as well, make sure I'm getting the right details here. Once again, since I have it, I might as well use it. Probably have, even though there's no direct light hitting here, I'll probably have some ambient light sort of creeping in, so that's going to be a bit more red and definitely darker. It will be, that's probably a bit too intense. We want to have it a bit more dull. I'm just going to check the comments here. have I ever thought about making a Discord server for my community? I haven't. I feel like I've heard that a lot, and I've heard of people doing that. I'm not really familiar with the program, but I'll definitely look into it. Like, I've used Discord for projects before, and it's pretty cool. I'm not sure what the advantage is, but I guess it's just, you know, a place that you can chat with people, and that kind of thing. So I'll look into that. If that's something people are interested in, you know, I'm happy to do it. Whatever you guys think would benefit you the most, as far as, you know, your own learning and engagement with this kind of stuff. Discord, yeah, I used that for a small project a while back, with like a team of game artists. It's pretty cool. I like the interface and everything. Seems to work well. Hair is so fun. I feel like hair is just like clouds in that, like I can just get lost in it for a really long time, and not and just sort of forget about all the other stuff that I should be working on. It's just, you can kind of just make it however you want once you have like the general principles down, you know. She's looking a bit mean, which may be what we were going for. I'm not sure. Just going to use the smudge tool here to kind of clean some of this up, sort of clarify some of our shapes. Whoa. Just totally messed with her lip there. Every once in a while, you know, you'll make that small change that, like, you're like, whoa, definitely screwed that up. Very creepy. Let me just fix that so once again, so she doesn't look like the Joker here. I'm doing what I said I wouldn't. I'm getting into these face details a bit before I probably should. But probably have to... I'll work on that other eye a bit later. I'll have to get to that, but I'm just gonna return to what I was doing here and use the smudge tool, probably sparingly. You know, I don't want to overdo it. I want to keep some of that texture in there, but since this is kind of a flowy, watery figure, maybe I will use a bit more smoothing than I usually do. Should probably start getting rid of some of these edges as well, these black lines, because like I said, I'm not a comic artist, and that's totally something you can do if you want, but I try to keep it out. I try to rely on the values and color of my shapes to guide things along more than, you know, lines. Yeah, like right here, I should probably come up with some way to create some contrast against the background so she doesn't kind of blend in. See how those values are very similar? I mean, I could sort of cast a shadow from her hair on that area, like that. I might do it. Or I could create a highlight, you know. I just want to find a way to make sure that's sticking out enough from the background. Maybe I could just put this whole area in shadow, you know, and find a way to explain it away. I don't know. I'm lacking a solution at the moment, but we'll figure it out. I think it'd be cool if she had like some kind of tattoos or like, you know, body markings like a fish or a shark. I would have to, I don't know what shark body markings look like, but could always look up a reference for that. I mean, actually, you know, probably a better solution would be to just darken this back here, honestly, some way. That way I can create that sort of dual contrast between each side. Maybe I could even, I don't know, it's not even realistic necessarily, but we can try it. I could have a little bit of that highlight coming around like that. It's a stretch for sure. I guess that would only happen if she had like fur or something, but I could do a different colored highlight, maybe from the side where like the light is catching the wave. Something like that. That's kind of cool. Let me just check, see what people are saying here. Freckles, all right. The wave works as a mirror. Reflect. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Oh yeah, glowy. We could have some glowing stuff. I love glowing stuff. It's my favorite kind of stuff. can even probably bring out this reflected light even a bit more. Really solidify this boundary here. We can like smudge it out a little bit too to follow the contours here. Just so it's not, you don't want to have like one sort of even line around everything. It's just not going to look very realistic. You want it to kind of fluctuate with the shape that it's defining, you know? Some highlights here and there, because she will be quite reflective, what with all the water and everything. After all, she is part fish. Fish are very shiny. That's what I've decided, anyway. Could probably get rid of all these flowy stuff around here. Sketchy things. Oops. Guess I'll need that. I think I mistakenly drew that on the wrong layer. That's okay. It's going to erase over / paint over some of this sketchy stuff here. Maybe we can get into some of this. That's always fun. Do some wave. Whoops. What the heck did I just do? Some wave stuff here. Cool. Have some of that up here too, maybe. I'd be almost pure white because it's catching a lot of that sunlight as well. think maybe I just want to change the angle of that so it's kind of going with the flow here. Actually, what the heck? Let's include the hand in this. Just want to kind of have it be a bit more rounded. Maybe I shouldn't mess with that hand. Okay. We won't include the hand. Of course, I'm on the wrong layer here. Doesn't even have to be coming from our hand necessarily. It can just be sort of going around it, you know? That's cool. Awesome. That's really fun. A fire background. I mean, yeah, it's like, I kind of imagine this as like a sunset, you know? There could be some cool stuff happening in the back, though, if we wanted to make like a more, more dramatic backdrop. I'm actually gonna take this. So I think this orange is a bit too much like the hair. I'm gonna have it be a bit more. I guess it would be duller, wouldn't it? Because if she has green skin or blue-green skin, it's gonna make more of a gray when it hits the light. Same thing over here. Although, probably won't see it as much because it's being silhouetted. So like we've almost worked out most of our, sort of painted out a lot of our sketch details already, but I'm just going to go around and make sure we're really doing that. We want to be clear that this is not a line drawing. I want it to look pretty painterly because that's a style I like. You want it to be, whatever your style is, you just want it to be consistent. think, let's see, what time is it? It's 2:45 here. I will probably, I'm just going to get in some last key details and then probably wrap this up for today. Make sure we have some of this line work worked out, because it's time for a break to do some other stuff for today. Or it's getting there, at least. I'm just going to kind of work some of this stuff out before I do that. Maybe we can dive into the face and sort of refine some of these details a bit more. Just so we have a nice thumbnail to show at the end here. Something that shows a bit more of what the end result might be here. I think, despite the fact that she is a mer person of sorts, I might give her some more human flesh tones in certain areas, just to give her a bit more life. You know, for example, people's faces tend to be a bit redder around the nose and the cheek region. And it just kind of shows they have some blood flowing around there. So I think I'll try pushing it to more of a violet around here and see what happens. I think that's a nice effect, and we can use that color elsewhere as well, just to sort of create some variation in the skin tone here. And that's always gonna, variation is always gonna sort of help you get a more realistic result. Zoom out, make sure I'm not screwing this up too much. I think she's looking a bit older than perhaps I would like at this point. And I want to narrow her lower eyelid a little bit, because she is sort of leering. Which means the edges of her her lips are sort of held upwards, which is pushing the fat and the muscle from the cheek upwards, which is in turn pushing the bottom of the eyelid up. And I mean, it's not such a chain reaction. I mean, they all kind of work together, but it's just useful to be aware of. Give her some cool eyelashes. Maybe her eyebrows are red as well. Or purple. Let's look at our reference eyes again. Just out of curiosity here. Let's get a nice white highlight here. Really make those eyes pop. Probably better to use my pencil for this. It's very specific details here. I'm going in almost to the point where my resolution is breaking down a little bit, so if I continue working at this scale, which I don't really intend to, but it might be worth increasing the resolution. And I probably want to make sure this, I always want the bottom lip to be a bit larger than the top one. I'll probably tone that down a bit. I think on this side of her face, we can bring in some of that reflected light. Some of that orange, you know, which is actually more of a gray than anything, but and this is just, again, helping to create some color diversity as well. is going to go a long way for us. I almost want to keep pushing that violet here too. Really give her skin a bit of life. And of course, we're going to have to do something about that other eye. It's very vague at this point. I mean, you know, you don't have to necessarily, but I think it just needs a bit more definition. In fact, that right there might be all it needs, but we'll see. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overdevelop your non-focal areas. But I mean, it's kind of a focal area because it's part of the face as well. But it's not as much as the right side is. You know what I mean? That may be enough right there. I kind of like how it's a bit vague, you know, but it suggests the right shapes. Can make a little crease line where the brow is furrowed. Maybe even some areas where there's a bit of a shadow between different planes of light, you know. Could sort of draw that out with these lines. And right underneath the hairline as well. Want to make sure there's a lot of shadow there. Nice. This is looking pretty good. We could even well, we could even push some of the reflected highlights on the other side as well, just to really create some nice contrast, you know. Once again, not necessarily super realistic, but I think it kind of works because there's like light filtering through the hair. You just don't want to make it too sharp, because again, that's going to increase her age a little bit. And that's not something I'm trying to do here. And we want to leave a little bit up to the imagination as well. Oops. Keep it sort of dark. Really zooming in for this eyeball here. I guess it could be catching some of the light. I think it's a little too. Ernesto, I'm glad this is making you want to paint. That's my goal here. I mean, besides just sharing this stuff with you, but Magic the Gathering card, thank you. That's high praise. I love. Yeah, I mean those artists are pretty top notch. I follow quite a few of them on ArtStation and that kind of thing. I think maybe this shadow boundary is a bit extreme, so let's just gonna blur that out a little bit. Let's take I mean we could even use a little bit of red here. I don't think it would be too out of place for like just some of these areas where we might be getting some subsurface scattering, you know. I did something there. What did I do? I don't know. Probably can lower this eyebrow even more. Really give her some fierceness. As you can see, it's turned out quite a bit different from our reference here. And that's it's actually worked out pretty well. But you know, that's why it's almost why it's so useful to start out with a good reference, because you know really gives you a solid foundation to build up everything else. Now I'm seeing all this opportunity to include this reflected light. It's just kind of fun exploring all of that. I didn't intend to go into so much detail on that the left side of the face. I was just sort of planning on keeping it in shadow, but you know, if there's an opportunity for it, might as well. Some tattoos and stuff. Maybe I'll probably do that on a different layer. I don't want to I don't want to screw that up too much. Make a bunch of marks all over her face and then decide it doesn't look good. Once again, another reason why I like sometimes the character work tends to be a bit more layered, but there's so much more fun stuff to do here. I almost just want to keep going for like 2 more hours, but I know, you know, my productivity and focus are just going to sort of drain down a little bit. Jeez, it's almost dark here already. Feels like I've barely started my day, and it's I have to go outside and do some things. But now we're just getting to the fun part, really. This is where you get all these fun details and things you can do here. I can show you some of the brushes we can use here. I've got a nice one for hair. This Trails brush. Maybe we can even lighten up that value a bit where it's really catching the light, you know. That kind of thing. Than anywhere where it's really, like right here, I feel like it would be catching the full effect of that light, so we can bring it up to a white almost. And same here, like around the edges, you know. It's just sort of something hair does. Just catches anywhere where it turns. It's like the light is just bending around it and giving it a really nice bright white highlight. And then we can use our smudge tool as well to just sort of make this all nice and blendy. She looks kind of very like wild looking. Kind of want to give her a bit more of like a flowy mermaidish thing. So maybe we can have some strands that sort of go up like that, and then they come back down. Have it just be a bit more flowy and voluminous. Look at that lighting though. I mean, that's already looking pretty good. It almost it's really showing that you know, the light is passing through the hair as well as catching it when you use these saturated reds right underneath it. And I can push that even more here and there, you know. You can even erase out some spots where the hair isn't there. And we can use our smudge tool to, like I said, this is why it's so fun, you know. I can just spend hours doing this, because you can just kind of make up whatever you want, and it'll, as long as you follow some basic you know, rules about. Oh, this is a brush I probably should have been using more. Just this nice thin brush. You know, once again, you can find all of the brushes I'm using in this stream are available from the link below in the brush pack. Yeah, we're gonna use some pure white right at the edge here. She's looking very, very fierce, very majestic, and I dig it. See, this is a very good this is a good one. I'm pretty pleased with how this is coming out. I feel like it has a lot of potential to be a really nice piece when it's all finished here. I know there's still quite a bit more work to do, but like not as much as actually you might even think, because they're really the major details of the face, and that's, you know, this is your focal point right here, and everything else, it almost looks like there's so much more to do, but there really isn't. You know, I just want to clarify a lot of these shapes and sort of fade out a lot of these lines, and you know, and then work on the background a bit, give that a bit more definition. Noticing there's an opportunity to key in some of that purple, or that violet we used on the not that it makes much of a difference, I don't know, but that was something they, like, I feel like they in the art classes, that was something they kind of rammed to my brain. It's like, it's not purple, it's violet. Whatever. You know, who cares? Everyone knows what you mean. But yeah, look at this, there's just some really nice opportunities to use that along the boundaries between different light sources here. I'm definitely going to run away with that a little bit. And then of course, yeah, we're gonna want to apply some really cool like patterns to her body and her face, you know, give her like a nice fishy sea creature look. And yeah, I'm just gonna key in a couple more details around here, and then we're gonna wrap it up for today. Can't really bring myself to stop working on this, even though like I'm tired and like I want to. I don't know. Maybe you can relate to it. It's like a weird feeling. It's like your body is telling you need to do something else, and your mind is like, no, keep painting. Whoa, it's a bit too intense. Probably use this very bright highlight here, just around the edge. You know, down here. Just to help help her stand out a bit. I'm using that subsurface scattering once again along the boundaries here. You can even use some of that purple. Should probably check, make sure people are still around here. Nice, we've still got quite a few people. See what if he doesn't get upset because we're spamming Instagrams. That's okay. Yeah, no, post it in here. Absolutely. I think I'm already following all of you anyway. But yeah, feel free to drop that here if you want to share with other people here. That's great. I mean, it's awesome to have other artists, you know, following each other and supporting each other's work. So I'm always in favor of that. Ernesto is saying, "Never stop, Eben, keep going." my wrist is inflamed right now. I should probably, I need to work at a slightly different angle on this thing, and that's like definitely something you should always be aware of if you're feeling something like that. Like, is there something I'm doing while I'm working that's causing me pain? It's very easy to do stuff like that, I should probably consider changing the angle of my tablet. It's kind of at like a 45-degree angle right now, and it's probably not helping. This shape, I need to change this. Yeah, this goes out a bit more. Looking back at my reference, which I've had up here the whole time, and you know, even if I'm not like directly working from it, it's good to just like check in on it every now and then and see if there's anything I can still learn from it, as far as like, you know, accuracy of the figure and that kind of stuff. As you work on the details and sort of make it your own, it can be pretty easy to sort of, oh, my phone, every stream, I think, and it's weird, I don't get that many calls, but I feel like I always get a call during a stream. What was I saying? I don't know, something about stuff. I'm getting very reflective with this other. I might be pushing it a bit too much. Like, I don't want this shadowed area to be competing too much with the lighter side of things. So I might just go in and darken this a bit. Maybe I'll use some of this violet. Especially around here, there's not too much light getting in there. You can see there's still these sketch marks around the edge too. I'll have to address that at some point. And this is probably a bit more shaded. It's hard to get. I need to figure out a good smudge tool for Photoshop. The smudge tool in Procreate is really useful for blending, and I really haven't found a useful equivalent in Photoshop. The smudge tool here is just not the same. It kind of pushes things around more than it blends them. And I mean, maybe I can experiment with some different tool tips. That might be something I'll add to the brush pack as well, because I really need, I think I need a couple different types of smudge tools. You know, one for sort of pushing things around like I'm doing here, and then one for really blending things and getting some nice smooth edges, which I can't really do with this one so much. So maybe it's about the strength or some other variables, or maybe I'll just make a mixer brush that has a really high, really low load and high mix ratio. I think I'm looking at the shoulder right now, and I think it comes down a bit more like this. Yeah, it's like this mixer brush, it's really great for creating texture and like creating some nice stroke shapes and that kind of thing, but it's not, when you want to get a really delicate blend, it's a bit harder to do that. I loved the addition of this violet. It's almost like, it almost has no logic to it. I feel like it did in its conception at some point, but like I don't really understand it anymore, but it just, wherever I put it, it looks fantastic. So I guess it's a bit stylized, but it just looks awesome. Yeah, I think all this is gonna. I should go back to this reference here, because all this needs a bit more refinement. I think I've sort of lost my way with the shading a little bit, so I'm just want to clarify that. Really look at this, what's happening in the reference photo. Maybe incorporate some of this purple. Maybe I didn't quite get this shape right, so I'm just gonna refine that a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna add that to the brush pack. Now that I think of it, I need a really good blending brush. So that's so key when you're trying to get more of a traditional look, And this just isn't quite doing it. I see. Okay. Yeah, that looks quite a bit better. Much simpler. Just kind of shaking this with this smudge tool to blur it out a little bit. I feel like she's looking maybe a bit cross-eyed. I don't know. I need to step away from this. Gotta call it. My wrist is cramping, man. All right, let me just check it out right. Stream is incomplete until your phone rings. I'll have to try Clip Studio Paint. I don't know. I think that what I need is it may actually be something that's lacking in Photoshop, that smudge thing, but I think there's a way to make it happen. And I think like if I make a mixer brush that has a very low load setting on it, like if we go here, then we drop that to 0, mix to maximum. I wonder. I just want to try that real quick. Never stopping. That's pretty good. I would probably use a different tooltip. I mean, this is kind of nice because it keeps the texture in there, but if I had like let's move this. Have something like, that's kind of cool. Let's try that. Interesting. Yeah, it still has quite a bit of texture to it. And it's still like putting down, maybe if I reduce the maximum wet. Wow, that's interesting with that texture. I kind of like that, but I want something a bit smooth. Oh, I can drop that texture off of there. There we go. That's a bit better. That's kind of what I'm looking for. It's like it's much more smooth and blendy. And it's not, I don't think, like if I make this red, is it going to put red down? Yeah, it is. But can I set this load to 0? Nope. Between 1 and 1000. That's ridiculous. I mean, I guess it's pretty close. It's like not a pure smudge, but if I have a color selected, that's what happened? It's not working anymore? Did I crash my computer? Oh my god, did it crash? Oh no. That's terrible. Let's see if it saved the file. Look at that, recovered. I don't think it got That's a little behind. I think I lost like 30 to 15 minutes of progress there. It could be worse though. Oh my god. Who was it? It was Ernesto or someone called, or Jose maybe. Totally called that earlier. And of course I cursed myself by saying it had never happened to me. Oh my god. Live stream 26. Okay, well, that could have been worse, I suppose. But I'm gonna stop now because yeah, it was Jose. Yep, told me to save. And I didn't. Oh well, we still got all the important parts here. This is a sweet piece. I'm really pleased with this. How it's going so far, but we're gonna need some more work. But I'm done for now. That's 3 hours and 10 minutes roughly, or 3 hours. I guess I started like 10 minutes late. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. This one was really fun, and it's really great to see some new faces in the stream, and some dialogue happening there, and you guys talking a bit about your own artwork. And so I hope you found this helpful or fun, or whatever it is. And it's been great to have you here for my Sunday stream. I do this every week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I release a new video every Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. I got another one coming up this week, and happy holidays, everyone. I hope you've had a nice break from what you've been doing and had some time to work on some art. And once again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the videos and the streams and all that. So thank you guys for joining me once again. Save always, and I'll catch you next time. Alrighty, I'll see y'all later.